It's time for Mornings at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, yes, it is time for Mornings at 8, and here we are. It's about 5 minutes after 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. Wednesday. That means it's halfway through the week. So from here, you can see the weekend peeking up over the horizon, if you can see through the snow, and the weekend will be here soon enough. Well, as you can tell, here I am once again in Greater Metropolitan Almond, broadcasting this morning. I'm here, and my three cats are here, sort of like interns. So it's me, Sammy, Zor, and Mr. Abernathy. So the four of us are here in my office. And as I look outside, it's still snowing, as a matter of fact. Since this thing began yesterday, we've had about 7 inches of snow here in Almond. I don't know how it is elsewhere, but that's how much we've had here. So, oh, hey, Christmas is 1 week away. This is Wednesday, the 18th? That means that next Wednesday is Christmas. All right, it'll be here soon enough. Yes, sir. Well, let me see here. As you heard on Brian's news, let me see. We have this, we have that. Well, first let's do Arkport Village news. The Arkport DPW chief, Logan Slider, reports that the village, there seems to be a water leak somewhere, although they're not really quite sure. So he says there's a good chance it's a leak. However, at this point, we have no idea where it is, he said. So they'll be testing over the next few weeks to see where this possible water leak is coming from. Also, the board has decided not to increase the fee for the town of Hornellsville to use the courtroom. Instead of the fee going up $200 a year over 4 years, the fee will stay the same, which is $3,400 a year. And Slider says the town of Hornellsville has done a lot for us, and it'd be a nice gesture to just leave it the way it is. And Mayor Charlie Flanders and the trustees also agreed. And, also, speaking about Charlie Flanders, the mayor there, he will be up for re-election. So Charlie Flanders will be running for re-election again. And village elections are coming up March 18th. Now, normally the village elections are held on the 17th, but next year in 2020, March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. So you don't want to interfere with that. So elections are going to be held on the 18th next year. So that's coming up there. Also, as you heard on Brian's news, U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand held a news conference yesterday by phone, and pretty interesting. She's calling on Congress to immediately begin addressing aging dam infrastructure in New York and across the country. She says that there are approximately 90 dams in New York near populated areas, and the New York State DEC lists them as unsound. And the failure of a high-hazard dam could cost human lives and result in significant property loss due to major flooding. So she's calling on the Senate leadership to update dam safety programs in New York and across the country, and to increase federal funding for rehab projects. Now, she lists, where was this? Where was this? This is from the state controller's website. As you heard on Brian's news, there are 3 dams in Allegheny County, and in Steuben County, the Arkport Dam in Hornellsville, and the part of the Almond Dam that's in Steuben County were both listed as high hazards, as was the Dansville Reservoir Dam in Wayland. Now, Arkport Mayor Charlie Flanders says that they do this all the time. And he says that the Arkport Dam is not unsafe. He says they always list it as being a high hazard, but apparently it's, according to Mayor Charlie Flanders, it is not unsafe. Now, the whole, you've heard of the Susquehanna River Basin Project. And the Susquehanna River Basin Project was initiated after the 1972 flood. And if you recall, or maybe you don't, maybe you weren't here, who knows, or maybe you were too young. But the flood of 72 was pretty bad. It really hit the area really, really hard. And after that flood, the federal government and the individual states involved started the Susquehanna River Basin Project. In other words, all these dams starting, well, I'm coming to it. All these dams that go into the Chesapeake Bay are coordinated. All their efforts are, it's all one system now. It is like individual dams. Now they're all part of one big project, one big system. And the very first dam in the entire project that empties into the Chesapeake Bay, the very first dam is the Arkport Dam. How do you like that? So the entire Susquehanna River Basin project starts right here in Arkport. Huh, that's kind of interesting right there. So what they do is the whole thing is computerized, better communication between all the dams and all that. So in the case of a really bad, rain or something, storm, they're all in one system. So that's we haven't had anything like 72 since 72. So there's proof, I think, that the entire project works. Anyway, that's that. And let me see, what else have we here? Oh, yes, a couple of statewide stories here. Let me see, we have single-use plastic bags, styrofoam food containers. Let's go. Plastic bags. Beginning in March, after March 1st, New York will ban single-use plastic bags at grocery stores and other retail outlets, which supporters say will cut down on residents' use of an estimated 23 billion plastic bags each year in New York State. We use 23 billion plastic bags. State regulators have released new rules to enforce the changes, but groups on both sides of the issue say those rules are flawed. And the idea is kind of simple. After March 1st, grocery stores, clothing shops, big box retailers, and others in the state will no longer offer single-use plastic bags to shoppers. Some may offer paper bags or boxes. That might be kind of awkward. Anyway, others will require customers to bring their own reusable bags or buy them there. But both representatives of the plastic bag industry and environmentalists say there are some logistical issues that need to be resolved. Even though they are on opposite sides of the argument, they agree that the proposed regulations, and they were released by the state DEC over the Thanksgiving holiday, are flawed and may overstep the intent of the original legislation. Matt, what's his last name? Seaholm. Matt Seaholm is with the American Progressive Bag Alliance. I bet you didn't even know that such a thing existed, the American Progressive Bag Alliance, which represents the U.S. plastic bag manufacturing and recycling industry, and he believes the new regulations would have unintended consequences. He says, are we really heading down a road that will create significant market disruption in the state of New York? Seaholm said the way the DEC has defined reusable bags might complicate the sale of what are known as woven or non-woven polypropylene bags, which are also made of plastic and are commonly sold as reusable bags in grocery and other retail stores. He said if they're allowed under the rules, retailers would need to import an estimated 1 billion bags, and they're manufactured in Asia. Once the ban takes effect, he said the paper industry is not currently equipped to supply enough bags if stores decide instead to give out paper bags. He said they're talking about how they don't have the capacity, nor does anybody in the paper industry, to manufacture the necessary paper bags that will have to be used in New York to take over for plastic. He said the makers of single-use bags believe their bags are actually better for the environment than reusable plastic and paper bags. He said about 8 out of 10 are reused, and about 1 in 10 are recycled. But he says he understands why the single-use bags have come to symbolize the overuse of plastics in our society, even though they make up only 1% of all plastic products. He said when they end up blowing in a tree, they'll sit there for a while. We get it. As a matter of fact, our neighbor has had a plastic bag way up in a tree for months and months. How it got there, who knows? But this bag has been up in this tree for months and months and months. And every time I go outside, I zero in on that plastic bag. It's still up in a tree. Anyway, who is this? The Environmental Policy Director for the New York Public Interest Research Group disagrees with the assessment. Liz Moran. She She says she believes banning single-use plastic bags will be a significant step toward cutting down plastics in the environment. And she said reusable bags, even though they're made of plastic, have less impact on the environment. But she also thinks the proposed state regulations are misguided. These regulations could really muddy the water, she said. So anyway, that's how that's going, and we will see how that. There was one more. The commissioner of what? The DEC encouraged those who disagree to make their views known as part of the public comment period, which ends February 3rd. And there'll be public hearings on January 27th in Albany, if you happen to be there, and they'll make any changes necessary based on the comments received. So there will be a public comment period. It ends February 3rd. So that's there. And what else? Another ban here. What's Governor Cuomo? He's unveiled the fifth proposal of the 2020 State of the State, which would be banning the use of single-use styrofoam food containers in New York State. And it would also ban the sale of styrofoam packing peanuts. Governor Cuomo has announced the fifth proposal of his 2020 State of the State agenda, prohibiting the distribution and use of expanded polystyrene, commonly known as styrofoam, single-use food containers. And what else? Additionally, the bill would authorize the state DEC to review and take action to limit or ban other packaging material upon a finding of environmental impact. And that would be the strongest statewide ban in the United States, and would go into effect January 1st, 2020. Now, does that mean that no more styrofoam cups? I don't know. No more styrofoam. What? What would they? I don't know. Anyway, the new legislation will ban the distribution and use of expanded polystyrene foam containers used for prepared foods or beverages served by food service establishments, including restaurants, caterers, food trucks, retail food stores, delis, and grocery stores. And it would ban the sale, as I said, of packing of peanuts there, and authorize the state DEC to take additional action to limit or ban other packaging material upon a finding of environmental impact. So if you couldn't, no more styrofoam cups. That's the way I interpret this. So no more styrofoam cups. So I guess the paper cups or something? I don't know. Anyway, that's going on there. And what else have we here? Well, we have another ban. This should be good news for giraffes and giraffe lovers everywhere. This is really big news. This is from, where did I find this? OneGreenPlanet.org. It says, last year, an undercover investigation by Humane Society International and Humane Society of the United States found that nearly 4,000 giraffes killed by trophy hunters were imported into the United States over the last 10 years. And at least 51 dealers in the United States sell giraffe parts online and in stores. I don't know what stores they're going to, but I've never seen any giraffe parts anywhere. Anyway, it says here they make knife handles to giraffe skin, custom-made into jackets, boots, pillows, and even Bible covers. Now, I think that's kind of weird, but the governor has signed a new law into effect which bans this sale. The law designates giraffe and other certain species as vulnerable species and prohibits the sale of articles made from any part of a vulnerable species. And this is a huge victory for giraffes! Exclamation point. That's what it says there. A huge victory for giraffes. Wow. Let me New York State Senior State Director for the Humane Society of the United States, Brian Shapiro, says, this is an historic day for animal protection, and we applaud Governor Cuomo for signing this groundbreaking legislation to prohibit the sale of giraffe parts and products. New York will now lead the way for other states to follow in protecting this iconic species. So once again, New York State leads the way. Excelsior. Mr. Shapiro says it's an iconic step forward. So there we are. And he says we hope other states and the country follow New York's lead, especially considering that the United States is driving their extinction. So as I said, this is very good news for giraffes, and I think it's certainly a very, very positive day. Well, I think everybody needs insurance, right? You can't get by without insurance. You never know what's going to happen. All you got to do is listen to the news, and you never know what's going to happen. And insurance would be a really, really good idea, especially with the roads the way they are now. You ought to have some pretty good car insurance. Well, you could do no better anywhere on the planet than contact the Ryan agencies. They have offices in Hornell, Jasper, and Wellsville. They are insurance experts. They know what they're doing. And the average person really doesn't, because it's just too complicated. They offer sound, unbiased advice. Unbiased meaning, of course, they are beholden to no one insurance company. They have all these insurance companies at their disposal. They have a raft of research done, right? So they know what they're doing. They're insurance experts. It's like having your own personal insurance shopper. And what could be better than that? Offhand, I really can't think of anything. So, the Ryan agencies, they are the best.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
News from the NFL, where the rosters for the Pro Bowl were announced, with the Baltimore Ravens, including MVP candidate quarterback Lamar Jackson, leading the AFC, and all teams with 12 players named. The New Orleans Saints led the NFC with 7 players selected. College football news, Hall of Fame head coach Hayden Fry has passed away at the age of 90. He coached for 20 seasons at the University of Iowa, won 3 Big Ten titles, and made 3 Rose Bowl appearances. Checking the night in the NBA, the Pacers beat the Lakers 105-102. That snaps LA's 14-game road winning streak. Lakers are 24-4 now on the season, still tied with Milwaukee for the best record in the league. Anthony Davis did not play in this game for LA due to an ankle injury. Clippers topped the Suns 120-99. Paul George 24 points. Kawhi Leonard and Lou Williams each with 20 points in the win for the Lakers. The Knicks score 143 points in a 143-120 win over the Hawks, despite Trae Young going for 42 points for Atlanta.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
While Boeing has announced it is stopping the production of its 737 MAX jet, competitor Airbus has another problem. It can't make planes fast enough. Airbus has been flooded with orders for rival narrow-body A321 jets. FedEx is warning about another hit to its profit. That's after the company's profit fell 40%. FedEx said it will ground some aircraft. One problem? A global slump in air shipment. WeWork has been going through some hard times, but the company that provides shared workspaces has just gotten $1.7 billion in new financing with the backing of Goldman Sachs. And Ford investing $1.5 billion into Detroit plants. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Carol Zimmer, invested in you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At the Simmons Rockwell Nissan stores in Horseheads and Hornell, drive away in a new Nissan Altima SR all-wheel drive sedan for only $329 a month. New all-wheel drive 2020 Altima 2.5 SR models equipped with 19-inch alloys, sport-tuned suspension, and remote start. Lease with no money down for $329 a month for 36 months. Only tax and DMV fees are due at signing. Shop Simmons-Rockwell.com.
Okay, and we are back. The green light law is now in effect. The green light law, of course, gives illegal aliens the privilege of getting a driver's license, which some people think is a great idea, and some people do not. They think it's a really bad idea. Anyway, we're going to get this on Breitbart, and there are a number of videos here of illegal aliens lining up to get driver's licenses at DMVs, and boy, there's a slew of people getting driver's licenses. The law, of course, allows about 725,000 illegal aliens in New York State to get driver's licenses. 725,000. Man, anyway, so they're coming to the DMV offices in droves. And an Immigration and Customs Enforcement official, ICE, told Breitbart News that ICE agents would not be conducting random arrests at New York's DMVs. The official said arrests would only occur as part of a targeted operation to find fugitive or criminal illegal aliens, stressing the agency's limited resources. So, a Madison County clerk, where is this? Madison County clerk Michael Kevel told News Channel 9 that providing driver's licenses to illegal aliens would drive up fraud and identity theft in New York. He said creating an opportunity for people to commit this kind of fraud and walk out with a government-issued document, identity theft in this state is going to skyrocket. That's what he said. For months, state Republicans and Government Accountability Institute have warned that the green light law will eventually give illegal aliens the right to vote in New York. While only U.S. citizens can vote, state election officials have said it's an honor system that could be easily forged with a driver's license. That doesn't sound too good. As a matter of fact, a Siena College poll conducted in June revealed that a majority of all New York voters, 53%, oppose giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens, including 6 in 10 of upstate New Yorkers and more than 5 in 10 suburban voters in the state. But there it is. It's in effect, and we got to live with it, I guess. Okay, what else have we here? Well, these are new high-tech times, right? New high-tech times, but we are the same old people. And there are some people out there who will do whatever they can to steal whatever you have. And this has been reported in Florida. And where did I get this? I got this on Fox News. The cops in Florida are warning holiday shoppers this week that scammers have been placing fake barcodes on gift cards at stores. Boy, it takes a lot of thinking and planning to think of that. Let me see, the department, Boca Raton, the police department in Boca Raton, they posted on their Facebook page, scammers are printing out their own barcodes and placing them over the actual gift card barcodes at local retailers. And when the card is activated, the money is added to the scammer's card instead of the card being purchased. That's diabolical. That's really something. So police recommend making sure that the barcode on the back of the card matches the number on the packaging itself, and they suggest checking for stickers placed over the barcode and choosing a gift card in the middle or back of the rack. And the department said criminals will likely go for the front cards because they can commit the crime more quickly. So they place fake, and there's a photograph here of a guy placing a fake barcode over the real barcode. So I guess when you go to buy a gift card, boy, that's really complicated. But I guess when you go to buy a gift card, be sure that the barcode is, the original one and not something taped over the top of it. As I said, new high-tech times, and boy, we are the same old people. Well, let me see here. Let me see. What else? Oh, yes. Fruitcake. This is the time of year when people drag out last year's fruitcake, or maybe from 5 or 10 years ago, and put it on the table, and nobody even touches it, and then it's put back in a cupboard somewhere. Well, this family, now where is this? In Michigan. This family has been passing down the same fruitcake for 141 years. I'm not making this up. 141 years. Where did I find this? On the MSN website there. Julie Rudinger, who lives just outside Detroit, is the proud keeper of a 141-year-old fruitcake that was baked by her great-great-grandmother in 1878. This thing was baked in 1878. It's a great thing, she says. It's a tradition. It's a legacy. The annual dessert called for a year of aging before it could be served. But apparently she passed away before that time, her great-great-great-grandmother, and her husband couldn't bear to cut a slice from the fruitcake. Instead, he rested her obituary on top of the cake and enclosed it in a glass. So this rock-hard loaf has been passed down for 5 generations. Ruttinger's father, Morgan Ford, was entrusted with the cake until his death in 2013, and now she has been taken over. Now, she has actually been on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno about 15 years ago. So Leno tried a tiny bite of this fruitcake in 2003, and he says, I think it needs more time. Okay? So the thing is described as tasteless and not good, but apparently a professor and food safety specialist at North Carolina State University says the fruitcake is actually safe to consume if you'd want to take a chance doing that. So so this fruitcake is still, I don't understand it. Anyway, and so there we go. That is the end of this morning's show, and I will see you tomorrow.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The full House of Representatives convenes this morning to debate and